All right, so we're here as creatives, simply just creatives, and we want to tell you our story on why we're starting Course Creator, and we're going to tell you a little bit of background on our journey of being videographers and filmmakers. So I'm going to let Cody start off, and Cody, just tell us, your journey, and tell us why we decided to do Course Creator Academy.
So yeah, I got into film about 4 or 5 years ago professionally, but I was into electronics basically my whole life. It kind of just made its way into the film world. I went to film school for like 2 years online. You get what you get online. It's kind of up to you to do the work. There's nobody in person pushing you. There's nobody in person showing you how to do this and how to do that. So I will say it's kind of up to you at that point, but I went to Full Sail. I did the whole film school thing. I graduated, put myself in debt, which I now realize is basically unnecessary. You don't have to put yourself in debt to learn how to do this. And I kind of showed myself that at the start where I learned YouTube University. It was my king, my home. I would go to YouTube and just search up everything, but I thought film school would kind of put me to that next level. Like if you go to film school, obviously they're going to be hitting you up. Like they're going to be wanting you to do all these kind of jobs, and that just simply wasn't the truth. So graduated from film school and decided that I wanted to teach people the way that Full Sail was doing it and not break the bank.
Yeah. I think that's a good reason to start an online platform or education platform, with you simply having the experience that you want improved, and you want other people to experience an improved version on the information that you learn. So
Yep.
I think that's a great touch on that. So I guess I'll go ahead and tell a little bit of my story. I started back in 2021 with an iPhone and a stabilizer. I really didn't know what I wanted to do with that. I didn't have a passion to be a filmmaker or a videographer or anything like that. I was just looking for another income path. And I found pop-up shops where people were selling their products, and I would walk up to the booth, sell $5 to $10 videos, and it worked. After I got my $5 sale, I knew I had a result. So from there, I just kept going and kept realizing that I can go up on price. I went up to $10, $15, until somebody walked up to me one day and made me realize, they was like, hey, you could charge more than even $15. So then I went to 20 and 25. Then I started thinking bigger. I was like, okay, I can start charging the actual event host to come record their event for $150. And I did that, and that sold. And then that's when I realized, okay, now I need hourly rates. And then as we all go through the same cycle of pricing, we all start off with more than likely either the $50 an hour, $75 an hour.
Yep.
In between that startup range, that's where I was. I was there for a little bit with the iPhone until it purchased me an actual camera, and I started really learning the skill, really learning shutter speed, aperture, and etc. And I just start believing in it a little bit more after I start learning more information, learning the vocabulary, and finding people that's in the field and connecting with them so I can collaborate, and started a team from there. And here we are today, fast forwarding 2 or 3 years. I'm here with Mr. Cody Cochran himself, and we're now community givers through education when it comes to media production.
Yep. And I'll say on this side, as far as Course Creator Academy is concerned, we don't gatekeep. We're not about your money. We don't need your money. We really want to help you learn. Like, at the end of the day, what we're noticing is, like, a lot of us are collaborating and a lot of us are working together. So when you help yourself, you help us, and we all help each other. So getting in the room with each other, basically, and just showing you hands-on experience of what you can do and what you can become, and just giving you that confidence is really what we're all about.
Yeah. Well, another thing I'm realizing is that a lot of people are really not good at the skill. You would think someone is good at the skill. You see them posting on Instagram and stuff, but, like, once you put them in position,
Yep.
That's when I start realizing, okay, there's a disconnect, there's a misunderstanding, and there's some fraud going on.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of fraud, and we don't mean that to be mean. We're not trying to be rude. Like, we really want people to succeed, and it hurts our industry when we got people going out there, presenting themselves as the most professionals that have been in the game for years, and then all of a sudden we realize they don't even know the basics. It's some of the stuff you should know on day one that you're going out and doing, and it's not there.
Yeah, no. So yeah, my whole thing is, because I work with a lot of people myself, or I come on other people's set and I realize, I might catch them shooting at auto, or, they just don't have a deep understanding of exposure or white balance. or even how to properly frame.
Yeah.
You know, and some of that stuff really hurts, especially when someone is paying you to do the job that they're asking to get done, and you're not following through with that mission. And then when someone on a higher expert level come in charging the platinum price or the correct price, it's a disconnect because they're so used to the lack of.
Yep. Yeah, we see that a lot. We see a lot of people going in and expecting a certain price client-wise, but it's just not quality met with the person that we're sending. So whether we're sending them, whether they're getting the jobs on their own, it's like they're telling them, let's just say $100 to shoot the whole event, when in reality it should be a $500 event.
Yeah.
Their skills just aren't there yet.
Yeah, that's a real thing. That's literally a real thing, and it eats us up a lot. But outside of that, so let's talk a little bit more about collaboration. What are some things that you think, well, you know that we're looking for? Tell the people what we're looking for when it comes to collaboration in Course Creator Academy.
So I would say the main thing the Course Creator Academy is looking for as far as collaborating with other people is hungry individuals. Like, we want you to want to learn.
Definitely hungry.
That's definitely key, because if you aren't willing to come and learn, there's nothing we can teach you.
Yeah. And be cool with the fact that you're not good.
Yep.
Enough.
Yep.
At the moment, to clear that up.
Yeah.
Because, not being very well skilled in the field is okay. Because it still takes time. It takes practice, keyword practice.
Yep.
And hands-on. It's not just watch YouTube, buy the equipment, and the job is done. It's watch YouTube, get an understanding at a very low level, because that's like an overview. For YouTube, in my opinion, you have to already be in the field to understand what's being taught.
Yep.
Because a lot of the people on YouTube are talking on higher levels already.
Yep.
They're talking to intermediate and advanced people. They're not talking to, I just bought a camera yesterday, help me understand.
Plus, you kind of got to already know the terminology, because if you don't know what you're looking for, it's almost like if you don't know what you don't know. So you don't even know what to look for. So that's why YouTube is kind of a bust in that respect.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because in any field that I realize, you got to have a vocabulary in that field. Even doctors have a vocabulary that the common person would not understand.
Yep.
And I think that even real estate, videography, lawn mowing,
app development,
anything, it has a language that a typical person can't just, I know exactly what they're talking about.
Yep.
And that's not how it works. So yeah, collaboration in my eyes, like you said, hungry, people that's just willing to say, okay, I want to get better. And also look at opportunities like the one we're providing, specifically Course Creator Academy, like an investment. It's like outside of buying the camera, we're like a manual. I would look at us like a manual to help you, guide you, and get a better understanding. And we also offer in-persons in the state of Georgia. So,
yeah, so I would say, like he said, don't think you're just going to buy the camera and it's going to turn on for you and magically start working.
No.
But we say that to say also, it's not about the camera you buy. We teach iPhone, we teach cameras. It's about knowing the skill, knowing how to present an image, creating a story, and collaboration.
Yeah, you're right. It's not all about the camera you buy either. It's also about using what you have. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people are in the state of comparison. Because right now, yes, we're shooting this on all FX3s, but it's okay to have the Canon T7 from Walmart or your iPhone.
Yep.
It's okay to start there. Like me, I started with the iPhone, and I was actually getting booked using the iPhone, because it's not about the device in your hand. It's about just understanding the skill set and just being willing to invest in yourself to make that product look better than what it is. So outside of talking about the product, let's talk about some of the important things in videography. What is 5 things you wish you knew?
5 things I wish I knew. I would say, starting off, I wish that I knew more about framing techniques. So like composition, like how do I actually frame a subject? Because you can just pull out your camera and you can point it and you can get a shot, but is it going to look nice? Is it going to tell a story? All that. So I would say framing, basically the basics of camera.
Yeah.
Lighting is very important.
That's number 1.
Yeah, that's really number 1. Lighting and sound. Sound is another thing that I didn't realize just how important it was to video.
Yeah.
You hear video and you think, if I buy a camera, I can shoot and I'm good, and that's not even close to what it is.
Yeah,
so
you gotta edit.
You gotta edit. Yeah. So I mean, it sounds like I'm being pretty vague about the stuff I wish I knew, but you don't understand that there's so many technological like techniques to this that you have to learn. And when you start getting in the field and practicing, like you said, that's when you really know.
Yeah. Okay, that's 3.
That's 3.
Yeah. You gotta give us 2 more.
2 more, I would say. Oh, it took me, I wish I knew this faster. It took me probably a couple years, maybe even, to learn ISO, shutter speed, and aperture.
Yeah.
Like, to really get an understanding of the exposure triangle and like which setting needs to be what, when, my frame rate, all that, it took me a while. So that was definitely something I wish I got a better grasp of quicker. And then overall, at the end, the last thing I'll say is just editing. Like, you know, we get told that there's this program, there's that program, you know, it costs this much, but until you go out and search for the information on how to do what it is you want to do, you don't know.
Yeah, you probably never will.
And you never will, yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, 5 things I wish I knew. First things first, back to the equipment, you know, I had a passion for FX3s because, you know, I love them. After I bought one, I was like, okay, this is a really good camera. And it was closest to the FX6 and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, this is the perfect camera for me. And I wanted to lock in on video. So that was the reason why I got the FX3. But overall, your equipment do not matter. It will get the job done. Of course, if you get into big industry clients, of course, it may not work.
Yeah, you ain't gonna be able to bring an iPhone out on a big industry.
But, you know, for the run and gun, freelance, or even personal content, you'll be okay.
Yep.
2, things I wish I knew, and this is actually recent because it just bit me a little bit. Make yourself different from a freelancer and a media production company. If you come in off the rip, introduce yourself as a media production company, it gives you the opportunity to delegate versus having to be the one to show up every time.
Yep.
I recently just experienced that, and, you know, maybe I should have laid it out a little differently, but that's one thing I wish I knew. Lay that foundation out, that understanding out earlier. 3, just go ahead and invest in the office. Or build up your personal office. The reason is because you'll have a place to create content for one, and you need a zone where you make yourself comfortable editing. Because editing can be real uncomfortable. It can take a very long time, depending on what you're editing, and it can get real frustrating. So I would say invest in an office or make your area in your house more comfortable for yourself, where you will be editing, because, like I said, it just makes everything better when it's comfortable, relax on the mind, and it's made for that space where you can go in that room or that corner or that space and edit.
Yep.
Number 4, let's see, because camera settings really wasn't like a crazy thing for me, because I knew, like, you know, I had to understand it at some point.
Right.
It just got to the point for me when it came to camera setting that, like, okay, it's starting to be noticeable that my
Right.
camera setting is off, so I need to fix it.
Yep.
I could have invested earlier. I could have invested it in my knowledge earlier, but that'd be a little bit too out of whack to say so, but I'll run with it. I wish I invested in a course earlier, versus waiting till my 2nd or 3rd year to invest in a course, because the earlier the better, and I probably would have been producing way better videos than I would be now.
Yep.
And lastly, start a community from day one. I started a community from day one, but I didn't know what community I wanted to start. I was just starting a community, so let me make that clear. Identify what kind of community you want, and then start the community around videography or whatever community you want to start. But go ahead and get that community started early, so then in later purposes, you won't be trying to search and find your community too hard. Of course, more people will come when you produce a personal brand for yourself. But if you go ahead and start off like, hey, I'm a person starting off as videography, as a content creator, and I'm just looking for a community to connect with, once you make that connection, that relationship is more than likely going to always be there.
Yep. And like he just said, community is so important, because the way somebody put it to me one time is, if you're selling a product or a service, it's not like you're going to be able to sell the product to the community without there being a community. So basically you're trying to sell to an empty audience. You have to build the audience first. Then once they get to know you and they get to know who you are, then they'll be able to buy the product from you, because they're buying you. They're not buying the product.
Yep. And that actually give them a personable story about us with Course Creator, because we was going to go straight online.
Yep.
We was going to say, all right, y'all, online class, buy it here.
Yep.
Learn at your own pace. But then we realized that's not going to work. That is not going to work. We're going to be here forever. Right now, we're building our personal brand even further than what it is. It's one of those scenarios where we know the information, but the random person is not going to see the social proof.
Right.
Sort of say.
Yep.
Let's say it like that.
Yeah.
And basically, yeah, we're building up at that point. This is basically that interview. Day one that, we're getting serious.
Right. Yeah, and social proof is big. Like, you might not think it, and I'm kind of in that rut where it's like, I don't care if you have 5 or 15,000 followers. Yeah. I want to know what it is you're producing, the content you're making, what kind of person you are. Do you know what you're talking about? So I'm in that rut where it's like, you still have to have that social proof, because at the end of the day, it's just like any product. You're not going to go buy a product that you don't know what the product is. You don't know who's selling it. You don't know if there's other people who's tried it. So you need not only social proof, but you're going to need those testimonials to really shine and show that you know what you're talking about from other people's point of view.
Yeah, we have a genuine care to help people understand this. I just brought this to an individual perspective that we just spoke to recently, and one of the things I told him, I was like, bro, we care about the transformation versus the money. Because if we can help you transform into the better person than you were before we came around, we feel a lot more better about that versus, all right, yeah, give me your money, come to class, go home.
Yeah, because I mean, you could give us $175. You can take the 1 month class and you'll get 2 classes, but that's like the basics of videography.
Yeah, you're not gonna learn much.
You're not gonna learn too much, and we feel like you need to stick around because we really want you to learn this. We don't want to just take your money. It's not what we're here for.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, that's our perspective on things on that. So let's talk about it, man. Tell us a little bit more, man. What's something that you would tell a beginner right now to get up and do right now?
Number one, overall right now, if you have a camera, you're a beginner and you want to learn, go outside of your house and turn your camera on and start shooting.
Yep.
Like, that sounds pretty basic, like, oh, I know that, but I guarantee you've been sitting in your room for hours watching YouTube, eating snacks, doing whatever, playing video games, and you haven't picked up your camera. How do I know? Because I do that weekly, and you have to stop doing that. You have to, what we're doing now, pick up your camera, go out and just shoot.
Yep. One of the things I would tell a beginner, get off Instagram and stop comparing.
Yep.
Use Instagram as an inspirational tool and then cut it off. Find someone that you like, how their content is going, figure out how they're doing it. Once you figure it out, don't watch no one else. Start taking action. It's not really hard to find inspiration on Instagram nowadays because it's a lot of great content on Instagram.
Yep.
So, find the inspiration here and there. And find a couple, like I find 2 or 3 people, but I really got one that I want to actually almost follow. And that's what I'm gonna do. I figured out every detail on what he does, how he do it, and I studied him. And now it's time to just produce more content like that. So me going back to my beginner self, telling you, stop staying on Instagram all day comparing and get to work, like Cody said.
Yeah, definitely. Like, the comparison will kill you because at the end of the day, there's already people greater than you. There's already people with more content. So if you let that be the basis of where you start, you're never going to start because you've already finished. You've already been cut off, and you're never going to get first on the highway. So quit cutting in front of cars. Just quit comparing yourself. Just start doing the work.
Yep. When running a marathon, you got to pace yourself.
Yep.
I go running every day. And one of the things I realize as I run every day, some days are actually hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like, some days I run 3 miles, right? Say if I run 3 miles Monday, do it Wednesday, and do it Friday. Monday may be a flawless day for me. I might be like, okay, I'm floating. This is easy.
Yep.
Wednesday come around, granted, it's the same 3 miles, same location. It feels hard.
Yep.
And then Friday come around, it's like, okay, it's intermediate. It's like, okay, it's not hard, but it's not easy.
Right.
But I say that to say every day is not going to be a piece of cake. Some days going to be harder than others.
Yep.
You just got to keep doing it, stay consistent. And the easy days will come, but it's always going to be hard days on no matter what level you are. So get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yep, and don't think that it's all gonna be sweet, like he said, in flowers. Like, there's gonna be days where you feel like you don't want to do anything, and that's where you need to really like lock in and get stuff done. Like, you don't have to go take your camera every day, go do a wild setup outside, big, gigantic. No, you just need to plan, sit in the house. Maybe you're writing a script, maybe you're editing a video, maybe you're reading a book. Like, just any of those type of activities that'll keep your brain moving and in the flow state will definitely help.
Yeah. That's perfect advice. And if you're someone that's intermediate and advanced, yes, take your time and do the extra.
Yep.
Because that's the only way you're going to get better at this point. You doing the same thing. We and Cody said all the time, your work has been the same for the last 5 years.
Yep.
Bro, do something different, switch it up, and make it harder for yourself. When you play a video game or you play anything, there's levels.
Mm-hmm.
You have easier competition and you have harder competition. Make yourself the harder competition for yourself. Because no one is going to come around and say, hey, bro, get up. I'm competing with you right now to make some content, or I'm competing with you to get better. You have to find that in yourself.
Yep, that's true. Yep, nobody is gonna come around and jumpstart you like a car. You're gonna have to jumpstart yourself. And it's funny because I had somebody ask me the other day, what do you do to keep that determination, that drive? Like, it's just, it's one of those things where it's like, it's in you, it's not on you. It can be learned, but if it's not something you really want to do, then it's never gonna be the case.
Yep. So identify your purpose is
Yep.
the overall thing, and stand on your values and principles. They also say stand on business, but if you want to make it clear, it's principles and values.
Yep.
That's something I'm starting to understand more and more. And it's okay to say no, ladies and gentlemen. It's definitely okay to say no.
And it's okay to fire your client. It's definitely okay to fire your client.
It is. It actually gains more respect on your end because you know yourself. You know your worth. You know what you want to do. And it's okay to say, hey, you're not a good fit for me. You're a headache. You're a frustration. Or simply, our goals don't align.
Yep.
So, anything else you want to lead to the people?
Overall, I would just say go out and practice. Find your target audience who you want to work with. Build that community. And again, if a client isn't working well with you and you aren't working well with them, it's A-okay. Just like a relationship, to walk away, you could walk away from that client. No amount of money should have you up at night, upset, should have you arguing with another grown adult. Nothing like that. Just keep it pushing and move on.
Yep. And my last thing, I was going to cuss, but I'm not. Don't worry about what other people got to say about you. Put your head down, get to work. And if you need a community that you can relate to, that's actually relatable, period, and been through similar stories like yourself, or you want to be around a community of other individuals that have similar stories and need to learn or want to learn just like yourself, Course Create Academy is the community for you. We solely are here to help you learn, get better at the skill when it comes to videography and simply content creation. So Course Creator Academy is open arms to everyone that want to learn. Link is in the description below or in the bio, wherever we post this. But more likely on YouTube right now. So we want to appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe, and we'll have more content like this coming soon.